All right, Sunset Rewind 2025 Girls Volleyball Preseason Preview Edition. Here with me, this is Taryn Rodriguez. I have the legendary Charlie Brand, Orange County and UC Irvine legend. Charlie, how you doing?
I'm great, Taryn. How are you?
Doing good, Charlie.
Got some good questions today, Taryn?
Oh, yeah. And with us today, we have probably one of the more notable names in terms of Orange County girls volleyball coaches. He is the one, the only, Dave Huber, Los Alamitos girls volleyball coach. How you doing, Dave?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Dave, the floor is yours. Tell everyone who you are, how you got into volleyball, and basically who Dave Huber is.
Well, I'm Dave Huber, head coach Los Alamitos High School, and it's been my 21st year with the Griffins there, so I've been there since 2005, and yeah, that's that.
Teach at the school.
Teaching PE also,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know you are a Long Beach State alum. I'm a Long Beach State alum as well. Sorry, Charlie, who's a UC Irvine alum. But what do you think you learned the most when you played for Allen Knipe, and how did you apply it to being a head coach?
Really just how to approach the game and, the day-to-day stuff and the improvement and the different area of focus kind of as the season progresses, that type of thing.
How did you make your way to Los Alamitos, and or did they find you by chance? Because I know you started out as an assistant, and then you worked your way up to being the head coach eventually.
Yeah, so I was finishing up at Long Beach, graduating in the spring, and started helping with the boys team over there. Jimmy Munoz was the head coach at the time. His brother, Paul, and I played together at Long Beach, so just the connection there. Got me in the door, started working in the district, doing some intervention stuff, some aid, special ed classrooms, and was coaching the boys and helping with the girls in the following year. And then Jimmy moved on, and I didn't leave. So I don't know that I expected to stay that long, but yeah.
So you've coached a lot of amazing players in your tenure on the girls' side, but one player that sticks out is Justine Wong-Orantes, and you also coached Rachel Fatal, who specialized in water polo. Talk about what it meant coaching Justine Wong-Orantes, and how did she impact your team and program?
Justine was obviously a special player, clearly, by the Olympic appearances. She actually set for us in high school, and she was always a playmaker. Good things happened when she was on the court. The ball finds her, or she found it, and everybody else kind of benefited from that.
Still have nightmares from that 2011 CIF Southern Section Championship game when Los Al swept Newport.
Yeah, we had to get some revenge from the 2 years earlier when they got us. So it was even. It's even now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about last year. Last year, your team wound up winning the Sunset League, and you made it to the CIF Southern Section Division I bracket, and you also made state. How do you plan to build off that and going forward?
I just think over my career at Los Al, just the expectations have always been there, and the girls kind of take it upon themselves to carry those expectations over. Goals and things like that aren't really set by us as coaches. Those are the things that they talk about, and they kind of tell me where they want the standard to be, essentially, and then we try to hold them to that and get them where they say they want to be. So,
Well, to be as consistently successful as you've been, there has to be a really solid feeder program.
Mm-hmm.
Lower levels. What do you think?
I just think really it's a credit to the kids. They do a good job of promoting those things, and obviously the school culture and the community support volleyball as well as all of our activities and athletics.
One of the things I always remember about your volleyball crowd are all the really creative cheers they would come up with.
Oh, yeah.
We had some really good runs in the student section, for
Yes.
sure,
Yeah.
filling up the gym and making it difficult on other people. So that's what I'm talking about, the community and school support that we've always gotten. And then, each year you have a new group in high school, and so the girls taking it upon themselves to really push that culture and stuff forward and the things that they want to accomplish, and kind of holding the rest of the program accountable to those things as well. Obviously, we try to set the tone as coaches, but those things are going to wear off pretty quick, after a couple of days of hearing me talk or say things. So it really comes down to them being able to push those things forward.
Now, you talk about your student section. One match in particular that their presence was felt was at Huntington Beach. It was basically for the league title, or at least a share of it. how much of a presence was there felt? Because I know the baseball team came to that match and the basketball team came, and then once, I think it was Rapetti that put down that match point, it was kind of a mini zombie apocalypse storming the court.
They did jump out there on the court, and we had some baseball players, some basketball players show up and support the team. So, of course, that's always appreciated, and just raising the noise level in the gym and helps to create that energy and kind of keep everybody excited point to point, so there's no real lull in the game because there's always somebody being loud and talking and cheering. Just it helps with the energy for sure.
That's what I love about high school volleyball, are those big crowds and the excitement and how excited those players will remember that forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the Oilers have gotten the best of us a couple times in a row, so there was obviously a lot on the line for a league title, and then we had a great environment to go with it, and fired up. The girls were able to come through.
Yep, Elmer Combs Gymnasium was packed with a lot of red. So let's talk about your coaching staff before we get on into your team. Charlie here, I know, is familiar with one of your coaches, RD, but talk to me about the entire coaching staff.
Really lucky to, have an on-campus coach, and Tatiana, who was a collegiate player herself, somebody the girls can really gravitate to, look up to, another teacher on campus. They can eat lunch in the room, get help with math, etc. And then she does a really good job connecting with the girls and helping them. And then RD Robbins, probably the most overqualified high school assistant coach, that we have around here. So when he retired and he was at Notre Dame and sent me his resume, asked if he could volunteer, I thought it was a joke, of course, because, however many years as an associate head coach there and previous Division I head coach as well at other stops. So a lot of experience on his side just to continue bouncing things my way to see what I'll take and throw in there. And just, the three of us being able to kind of look at different things during the course of a match. And even though I'm the one up and moving around, there's always input coming, and kids are coming off the court and they have really high level people to talk to. And I think that goes a long way for sure.
So now let's get on into your team. You could return some good players. Let's start off with your pins. Talk to me about your pins, your outsides and opposites.
So Brynn Minter, she's been on the court the last 2 years, but kind of in a different, maybe hybrid type role. So we've had some quality outsides the last couple of years, and Brynn's somebody that we thought could do a couple different things and ended up playing on the right because she could score and added some versatility, being an outside to back up and pass and maybe switch block, and she even played some middle last year in certain rotations. Just her versatility allowed us really to be as successful as we were the previous years because we could kind of move her around while the other kids did their primary jobs. And now she's moving into the full-time role on the outside, and so far so good. She's had a really great start to the year, being extremely productive. And then after that, we have a lot of kids that were on the team last year, but either role players moving into a kind of the starting lineup or starters that are now having to learn to be more productive. So Charlotte Hall is kind of the next one. She was in the middle for us last year and played a different position on her club team, and now she's playing on the left, so learning some new skills, and she's found a way to be pretty successful early on, so we're happy with that. And we're kind of piecing some other things together as we go. So a lot of kids have had some opportunities. I think we have a lot of kids that can do some things, and Lucy Sanzaro and Saige Sauvao stepped up so far early, and just kind of seeing who rises to be that next attacker for us.
Now talk to me about the trees, as Dan Glenn would call them, aka the middle blockers.
So Audrey Belikoff was someone who started pretty much every match last year, and she's really started to grow into her own, developing, big 6'2", touch over 10 feet, and so her kind of learning how to be more of a presence in the middle. She can already block a lot of balls, and now trying to get her involved in the offense.
Her dad played for me.
Okay, yeah.
Years ago, yeah.
A lot of overlapping relationships in volleyball. There's always
absolutely.
somebody that knows somebody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As my old saying goes, it's not a matter of what you know, it's who you know. Now talk to me about your setters, because I know you have a lot of setters that I've seen really step up in the past, whether they're freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or even seniors.
So, new players stepping up at the setting position, working to see who can really take control of that spot right now. Kaitlyn Rother's been our most consistent player at that position. And she had a good, solid game last night against St. Joseph's. I think had about 30 assists. So she's the one that's kind of taken the lead so far and trying to run the offense and see how we can develop it around her.
And last but not least, the best for last, libero. I know Caitlyn Herweg is your libero, but any other defensive specialists or liberos that could possibly be there for the future?
We got a lot of liberos, that's for sure. I think everybody does now. But Kate's phenomenal. She just committed to Indiana over the summer, so I think she's one of the best at her position anywhere. So we rely pretty heavily on her, and she can do a lot of things for us just from an awareness standpoint in that first contact. We're pretty comfortable when she touches the ball first with something good happening.
Yeah, she is a stud. I also noticed that her older sister, Kaya, is back at Cal State Fullerton after 1 year at Grand Canyon. What was it like coaching Kaya?
I really love versatility, and Kaya was one of the most versatile kids we had. So she's, I think, a Division I libero in my opinion, but in high school, like a lot of kids do, you get what you get, and we got to find a spot somewhere and make it work. So Kaya played outside, and then ended up playing outside and setting, in the same rotations. So we got to be pretty creative with that, which we always like to do. So she pass and hit for 3 rotations, and then would turn around and set for 3 rotations. So it's great to have somebody that can, have those multiple skill sets.
Which takes some coaching to be able to do that. I'm always impressed with the creativity that you have. You've talked about it just here. We talk about your players, playing on the left, playing on the right, sometimes playing in the middle. But all of that's not the same old thing that always happens with everybody else.
I just think that's what we have to do. You don't get to necessarily pick and choose who's coming in every year. So, we have 0 senior setters. We have 4 junior setters, right? So you kind of go year by year, and sometimes you have more of this and less of that, and somebody's got to play. So that's why we always are encouraging versatility kind of year-round. The kids do a good job in the spring and the beach and kind of developing some all-around skills so that they can be more versatile. And then when we get in the gym, we just see where the pieces fit. And sometimes you have to be, I guess, maybe non-traditional in that setup. And wherever you can get an advantage is what we got to try to do.
I like it because, as a lot of older coaches would say, you're developing volleyball players, not positional players that can do everything.
Yeah, I mean, we like to have a skill set, but at the end of the day, you just got to be able to make a volleyball play, and sometimes that's just standing in the right spot or knowing what to do, and then sometimes it's the production that comes with it too. So the mental part of that may be the hardest for them, kind of going back and forth, and then after that, we just trust you to be an athlete and go make a play.
So I always look at Los Alamitos and girls volleyball as one of the golden standards, and you're so consistent making the postseason. How do you all maintain that consistency? And I asked this to Craig Bizzanti, whose girls program is also good at Huntington Beach.
The consistency is, really the girls are playing year-round, so even though we're starting over in the summer, they haven't stopped playing volleyball. So the consistency part of it is just really getting on the same page as far as, the terminology that we're using. We might do a lot of the same things that they've been doing with their club teams, but we're calling them different ways, right? And really just having everybody be on the same page as far as where we're standing and where we're supposed to be and the things that we want to prioritize, kind of the order of operations aspect with it. That's, I think, where the consistency comes from.
So looking at your schedule, you already had the Ann Kang tournament. You had a nice win over St. Joseph. As of this recording, being August 20th, you have a big matchup against Mater Dei, and you were the only team to keep the Sunset Trinity crossover alive. Was that kind of by design, or were you just anticipating your turn to play Mater Dei and so on and so forth?
No, just the way the schedule works out. It's moved up, and now our league's expanded too. So we have the 12 league matches, whereas before, we're more of a 10-match league season. And us going to Hawaii kind of eliminates an entire week of the season. So there are only so many open spots, and we had one, and they had one. So let's play.
Love it. So I actually do want to know, stepping away from the schedule, who have been some of your favorite coaches that you've coached against? And I already can know a couple of them.
Obviously, I really enjoy coaching against Craig. He and I know each other well, and we can go back and forth a little bit.
I've seen it.
We talk regularly, so it's no big deal. The game will end, and we'll be good. But, yeah, obviously when Dan Glenn was at Newport, just because of how successful he was, and now Dan at Mater Dei, you'd like to take your chances against the teams that are successful. And it's fun when there's that consistency there, so you've seen each other year in and year out, and similarities and differences year to year. That's the fun part for sure.
Now, also looking at your schedule, you've got the Durango tournament. You had some success last year. I think you finished in the top 16. What do you like about the Durango tournament? Because you're facing a lot of stiff competition, and I'm guessing you don't duck anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you want to play high-level matches, and if nothing else, prepare yourself for the end of season and kind of see where you stack up. But also kind of learning the things that you need to be better at, so you get exposed. And that was the good thing about Hawaii, is it was a lot of high-level competition, but also some different styles of play as well. So having to make those adjustments, whether it's match to match or set to set, and just playing different lineups and kind of seeing how we can match up. And Durango's the same way. It's obviously a very high-level tournament, one of the best in the country for high school volleyball. So you go out there and you take your shot, and you can play really good volleyball and still lose a lot of matches. And it's fun to see kind of where you're at, and obviously see some of the best players in the country as well.
So you also got this Whittier Classic one. I know the reason why you scheduled that, but talk to me about why you scheduled the Whittier Classic and whatnot.
One, it works in the schedule. We don't want to play the same teams every week, so there's other tournaments we could play in, but I'm going to play Huntington twice in league and play them again in the playoffs sometimes, and I don't want to play them again in like an Orange County Championships.
Exactly.
So it's nice to have that variety, and always looking to expose kids to different teams and different levels of play, and give all of our kids an opportunity to kind of mix in and out. And yeah.
And then you got another non-league matchup against Redondo Union. I know I was at last year's matchup at Redondo where you pulled off a 5-set barn burner. This time you played them in Ann Kang, and you'll get to face them again. What do you think you've learned so far when it comes to Redondo?
Well, we actually didn't play them in Ann Kang. We did not have to face them in pool play,
I forgot.
so that works out really well
sorry.
since we have that match with them later in the year. And our match last year was, highly competitive from a score standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of the games weren't close. We just kind of took turns blowing each other out, and then they got us later in the year. But with Tommy over there, they're going to play with a really high intensity and energy level, and they're going to compete. So for us, it's the same standard we're trying to play at. So it's good, when that's on the other side of the net, and you have to rise to that level of intensity and urgency. So that's always the fun part about playing Redondo. They're going to keep coming and not quit, and Tommy's going to force that on them and get them ready to go. So yeah, those are fun ones for sure.
Yeah, that was my fault. I totally forgot that they flipped their whole tournament format. They didn't have that 7th match in pool play. Mm-hmm. So what can we expect from Los Alamitos going forward? Because your team is obviously a great team, consistent, and they are well coached.
Well, thank you. Hopefully you'll just see kids going out there to compete. That's what we've stressed, and the part of it that we're kind of stressing is just it doesn't mean trying to hit a ball as hard as you can or jumping higher. Like, we're going to play the way we play, but there's the mental side of that, right? We talked about the urgency and being highly competitive with just being in the right spot, and I'm going to make this play, and what am I prioritizing here and there? And then there's some personal stuff there too, like there's somebody on the other side of the net who wants to beat you, and you have to stop them, right? And it kind of doesn't matter who you play, whoever shows up is going to want to win that match, and you're going to have to be the one to kind of dictate what happens, as opposed to sitting back and waiting to see if it works out, or are they going to make a mistake first? And we're trying to push the tempo a little bit and dictate the flow of the match.
And then one more thing, I'm not really a native of Los Al. Where are some good eats if I want to go to Los Al? And do not say Volcano Burger.
Well, you got to stop at Volcano Burger. It's the closest thing, and it's right across the street.
Yeah, it's right across the street. But anywhere
some
else.
Chili cheese fries right there. There's a good Mexican place across the street as well. Yeah. I don't eat in Los Al, though. I stop at home or bring a lunch with me.
Yeah.
Smart man. Charlie, do you have anything you want to
No, I'm just excited to watch your team this year, Dave, as I always am.
Thank you.
One of the things that you see in the United States is everyone has this little cookie cutter format to do things. Mm-hmm. You talk to Spraw about it. He goes, volleyball in the United States is everyone's doing the same thing. Whereas you go play international, everybody's different. Every system's different, and you learn how to play. You have your teams always have a touch of that. a different style, not the cookie cutter. And I think that's exciting for all of us to see and watch.
I think with a lot of sports, you're kind of moving towards, some positionless type, look at basketball and things like that and the free flowing. So if we have kids in the front row and they can do different things, then we can determine the matchups. You know what I mean? And if I want you to block against her, then you just go over there and block against her. Yeah. But that requires them to be really engaged in what we're doing as well. It
also requires understanding transitionally what they do.
Yeah. So, the moving parts. And I get, again, similar to basketball where you're transitioning off from offense to defense, and now maybe you're in a different spot on the court. So volleyball, same thing. If we're switch blocking at the net or we're running a different combination in serve receive, then you're going to end up in different spots and transitioning differently from there. So it's something you work on. But again, the kids are the ones that have to go out there and make the plays. And
having coached at UCI against Brian Gimolero for years, and he always liked to run a serve receive and run middle blockers outside and run everybody everywhere and then stay.
Yeah.
So your counter transition looked entirely different than your actual transition and was able to throw people off because of that. That's kind of what you remind me of.
Well, thank you. But yeah, you got to take advantage of what you got and see, where you can get the advantage. Like we talked to the girls about having 12 chances to score, right? We're serving 6 times and we're in serve receive 6 times, and it can't just maybe always look the same. So if it's a serving sub that's got to come in the game because we're trying to maximize one of those 12 chances and they're our best server, then they got to go in, not just because, it's somebody else's turn. Yeah. And same thing in serve receive offensively. Like if we need to get a different matchup to give ourselves a better chance, then, we're not going to be that physically dominant all the time where we can just come right at you and tell you to try to stop us.
Right. I have a question.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Fallbrook High School.
Fallbrook.
North County, San Diego.
There you go. And where'd you start playing volleyball?
So my parents played volleyball. I was born in West Virginia, and they kind of played like some adult club stuff there. And so I was around it. My dad coached high school volleyball in West Virginia and taught as well. And then ended up in California where I could actually play volleyball. So I think I lived in Fresno for 2 years, and they had like elementary and middle school boys volleyball like at the school. So got a chance to play, and then moved to Fallbrook for high school and found some other people that played volleyball and joined a club team, and yeah.
So no basketball?
I played football, basketball, and volleyball in high school.
High school,
yeah.
Great. I always like to see the history of successful coaches. I know when I was, again, coaching in college, I always wanted to recruit athletes that were successful in multiple sports.
Yeah.
Because I think that what you learn from that is you can't duplicate that education.
I mean, obviously harder now, right? Things where even when I was in high school, if I was playing volleyball in the summer, then I was missing football or something like that.
Right.
So you're always giving something up. But yeah, I definitely think I took something from each sport, into whether it was playing a different sport or now coaching, whether it was from a coach and the way they approach things or just style of practices and things like that.
I remember, let's see, just figuring this out, you must be about the same age as Budinger.
Duncan Budinger, the older one,
Right.
He was a year below me
down
in San Diego, and then he ended up at Long Beach also.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, we knew those guys.
Yeah. And Chase was pretty good in
Chase
club
was
volleyball.
pretty good. Yeah, he was a pretty good volleyball player.
MVP
Obviously, he's
at
showing that
JOs.
now.
Yeah.
Wound up winning the
and
Manhattan
then-
Beach Open.
And then had a successful basketball career as well. But, yeah, he was pretty talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also made this thing called the Olympics and wound up winning the AVP League as well. So Chase Budinger was pretty good at this volleyball.
Yeah, tough to make a career change at that point in your career, right, and still
Yeah.
be highly
Maybe
successful,
that's-
and he
yeah.
did that.
That match last at the Manhattan Open, they were airless.
Really.
They didn't miss a serve. They didn't miss anything. They were just airless, and it was kind of impressive.
Well, listen, Dave, I know you've got a busy schedule today. I appreciate you. Charlie and I will definitely be checking out your matches, or at least I will, especially on the road. But Charlie will also be PA announcing your matches.
I'm sure we'll see you guys a couple
Yeah,
times.
absolutely.
Yes, thank you, Dave. Thank you to all of our Sunset Rewind crew, in James Krupe, Sam Bray, the man behind the lens. Thank you to Charlie for being here. I appreciate you. So we'll be back with another girls volleyball interview. So take care, everybody, and as always, God bless.